What's going on YouTube? Dre knows back at it again, bringing you another video. So I know it's been a couple days since I posted. I've been meaning to put out some more Seahawks CFM out there. It's just I've been kind of slammed, between work and just trying to get caught up with that and finishing up a couple other things here and there. But again, no excuses. We're back on the grind. So wanted to do a prediction video. Obviously, you guys know that there's the promo that dropped at the beginning of the year, the 50, which has actually brought us quite a bit of really good players throughout the season so far. So let's actually just take a look at a few, just to really kind of refresh you guys' memory. So like I said, the 50, which from my understanding, they're considered like some of the best players that have been used in Madden. So obviously we got Brett Favre. Some of them I was a little unsure of. Albert Hainsworth. We've got, let's see what else. We've got Vernon Davis, who's actually on my team right now. Let's see what else. We got Patrick Willis, of course, one of the best Madden users, for a long time. Antonio Cromartie, really good DB over the last couple of years. So, I think it's a cool way to really implement a lot of, legends that have come through, and rather than just make them regular legends, try to make them somewhat special. And then also, with this program, it brought us a lot of unique names, such as, Calico, who I can't remember the last time he's been in Madden. Actually, I don't remember him, going back to whenever I first started MUT back in 15. I don't remember ever really seeing him get a card. Vincent Jackson, Jimmy Graham, Reggie Bush, all just, big names in my opinion. So it's always cool to see, these type of players, a little bit more special compared to like your regular legends. So for today's video, what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to actually be giving my prediction as far as who I think is going to be on the first team all 50. Now, the players that have dropped up to this point has been the 52nd team, which is kind of surprising to see some of these names like, Taylor Mays. I would have thought he would have been a shoe-in as far as a first team just because of how good he is as a user, but that's neither here or there. So, I'm not expecting to be 100% right on these cards, but I feel like with the 50, I feel like it should be indicative of cards that really bring up a lot of fond memories of us in MUT. Now, I will say, just looking at my list here, I didn't have the opportunity to use all of these cards just because some of them were from some MUTs that I didn't get a chance to play in. But for the most part, I got at least a chance to, to use these cards, and it just brings up a lot of fond memories, like I said. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm actually going to break this video down into two parts. First part, the one that you guys are seeing now, this is going to be the 50 the 50 first team offense. And then if you guys really do enjoy this type of content, first of all, I appreciate you guys hitting that like button, and also subscribe to the channel because I will be dropping my prediction video for the 50 defense, the first team all defense of the 50 in the next video. So subscribe to the channel for that video. So let's go ahead, jump into my predictions. All right, guys. So first card that instantly comes to mind that should be on this team, gotta go with Michael Vick. There's a reason why he's a legend year in and year out throughout Madden, and why he's one of the most used cards. Just the speed is really everything, and just like with Madden, if you can have a fast team out there, that's gonna be it's gonna put you in a position to succeed. So I know Vick has his legend card already, but I'll be honest, with the emergence of kind of what the meta is, in my opinion, I think that Gunslinger and Set Feet Lead are they're pretty much required if you want to be successful trying to pass the ball in the air. I just feel like, especially after using Vick, after using Lamar, after using the most feared Russell Wilson, I've noticed a big difference, in my opinion, in terms of just the trajectory of the ball and just getting there and getting, beating defenders to the spot. So I think with this new Vick, if it were to drop, you would see him. I would hope he could at least get Gunslinger. I wouldn't expect Set Feet Lead. I think that'd probably be a little too much, but I'm not exactly sure as far as like what ratings he would have to have and if his specific archetype would get it. I would hope so if Josh Allen could get it, in my opinion. But I feel like this should kind of have no introduction really. I mean, it should be pretty much a given that Michael Vick should get the 50 quarterback, first team 50 quarterback. Now, while I also do this prediction video, I am planning on doing some wild cards as well, as far as like players that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be in the top in the 50. But like I said, I'm not going just strictly just based off names. I'm also going based off of like, experiences that you've had with certain cards. And coming in as a wild card for the quarterback position, have to go with quarterback Walter Payton. I don't remember actually ever really using this card, but I know going back to Madden, I think it's 25, I think he might have had a golden ticket quarterback card, which I can only imagine what that was like, because I want to say Madden 25 was the year of like the QB wrap read option, and I can only imagine what that would have been like using this card. So I will say, as far as a wild card, it would be cool to see something like this just to kind of mix things up. Although I'm not exactly sure how effective he would be, depending on the stats. And also knowing that, with the QB draw meta that was big up until today, when I'm making this video, that got patched. So not nearly as effective, but, being that he is a running back, he may have some better ball security. But, it'd be interesting to see that, just for fun. I wouldn't expect it to be like on a comp level or anything like that. But I mean, you never know. Like I said, I kind of wanted to throw in a couple wild cards in there. Now, I will put in a couple other, guys that I feel like should be taken into consideration. The first one being campus hero Tim Tebow. I feel like Tim Tebow is a name that always resonates just to the average football fan. And I know that his campus hero cards, in this case, and also I think he had a movers card back whenever he signed with the Eagles. That was ridiculous. It was OP. But both of those cards were fan favorites, so I could easily see Tim Tebow getting, I'm not exactly sure if it would be called a campus legend by any means, but especially because I'm not exactly sure if that's a promo that they're able to do anymore just because of the NCAA. We know how that works out. But it would be really cool to see a Tim Tebow card. I would hope he would get Gunslinger, although that's probably not going to happen because Tim Tebow didn't necessarily have the best arm. He was more known for his mobility, so he might be more of like an improviser or scrambling quarterback that could probably get escape artists and stuff like that. But it'd give us another option there to roll with that quarterback. And then the last card that I would put into consideration for the 50 quarterback position, I feel like, if you're going to put a Tebow in there as a campus hero, you might also have to consider campus hero Johnny Manziel. I actually used this card towards the end of, Madden 16? That was by far the most fun I'd ever had playing Madden ever, using this card. And it's a shame that it didn't work out for him in the NFL, because it would have been crazy to see him still in MUT, which that would be, I wonder how that would work. I wonder if they have his rights. It's probably doubtful, but wishful thinking, I would be ecstatic if we got a Johnny Manziel card. I think back in the day, back in like Madden, I think it might have been another Madden 25 card, which was the year that he got drafted. His draft card was ridiculous in terms of stats. I remember seeing videos from like some of the well-known YouTubers that were up and coming back then, used with gameplay of that card. That card was ridiculous. So as far as to wrap up the quarterback position, as far as my predictions, I'm gonna go with campus hero Johnny Manziel. Now transitioning over to the running back position. So one of my first candidates for the first team all 50, if that's however you want to call it, I keep mixing it up. But as far as who should be considered for the running back position, it's pretty obvious, especially after last year with how OP he was. Eric Dickerson, aka he's gonna run you over in Madden 20, running stretch every rip with his X Factor. I remember during that time, whenever his NFL, I think, was it the 100 or something like that, promo came out and his card dropped. Luckily, I took a break off MUT. I didn't really play it, so I didn't really have to deal with that. So I can only imagine what that would have been like at that point. And then even with this card, whenever it dropped in Ultimate Team last year with his Ultimate Legend, which underrated in my opinion. I'm not exactly sure why he got a 97 overall. I thought he could have easily been a 99, especially how OP his, I think it was like his 94 was the one previous before that. Yeah, I feel like, Eric Dickerson's probably a no-brainer. And if it is, supposedly they kind of nerfed or buff stretched in this case, but I haven't really seen too much of it as of recently, because I did start Weekend League already, which shameless plug, if you guys aren't following me, twitch.tv/DraynosTV. I'll be streaming my Weekend League all weekend long on there, so go ahead and check that out. But anyways, like I was saying, I haven't really noticed stretch be too OP since the patch. Granted, I haven't seen too many people run it since then, but I'm kind of glad that they did fix that, because I can only imagine what this card would have been like in 21. Now, a more recent card that I feel like could get an upgrade in the 50 promo, I could easily see Barry Sanders getting a promo. I think I might have saw a leaked image maybe of him getting a card at some point. I mean, only time will really tell, but I feel like his Team Diamonds card is definitely getting to the point where it's getting very, very close to being outdated. Now, it's still, in my opinion, the best running back card in the game, but compared to what, the difference, from the beginning at launch to where it is now, that deficit is definitely closed. Like, you have other running backs like Reggie Bush, even like the Raheem Mostert, most feared, that if you power it up to with Niners cam, it gets up to like 97 speed or something ridiculous like that. So there are some other contenders that are, very close behind this card. So it would be, interesting to see what a upgraded Barry Sanders card would look like. So because even now, even his Team Diamonds card still goes for over 600k, which is crazy. So I can only imagine what his 50 card would look like. So I feel like it would make sense, although he would have to be like an upper echelon player, because I know the 50 players that have dropped here recently, they've been like 90, 91, 92. I mean, it would be kind of a slap in the face if they just gave him a 93 in the 50 promo. That would make zero sense in my opinion. So, we'll see. Only time will tell. I feel like Dickerson and Barry Sanders are two good candidates. Let me know. I mean, if there's any running backs that I'm missing that you'd like to see, feel free to chime in down below in the comments. So moving on to the next position, we got the wide receivers. I'm going to skip over the offensive line just simply due to the fact that it has kind of that stigma that offensive line doesn't really matter, which in some cases, I mean, I do agree with. So I'm going to just skip over them completely, although I'm sure we'll probably get some good cards from that in terms of the 50. Maybe some guys that get like Nasty Streak. Maybe Nasty Streak might come back. For my sakes, I hope not, because I hated dealing with that back when that was a thing. So let's fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So gonna go ahead and actually bunch this group together instead of going individual one by one. So as far as the receivers that I think you can easily see in the 50 promo, I've got a few that aren't showing here now, but I feel like at least as far as like the starters, I mean, no introduction really necessary. I mean, obviously we've got Calvin Johnson, we've got Terrell Owens, and then we've got Randy Moss. Especially with Moss, I was kind of disappointed that we didn't see him in the Most Feared promo. I thought, for those who watched my Most Feared prediction video, you would have seen that I was going to try to guess that it was either Johnson or Moss that we're going to get like a master or something like that within the promo, but unfortunately we didn't get that. So I feel like it would only make sense because, obviously all these receivers were very unique in their own right. And I have a lot of memories, especially from last year, with using Moss with his Moss X Factor ability, just tossing that up and having him catch it on like 3 guys. So I feel like with these 3 guys, it's pretty self-explanatory as far as why we would consider them there. And I'll be very shocked if at least 2 out of the 3 aren't in this promo. Now, as far as wild cards for the wide receiver position, I actually have 2 that we may want to try to consider for the 50. First one being, again, without introduction, we've got Mutt Master Odell Beckham Jr. from Madden 16. Obviously, Madden 16 was well known for the aggressive catch, and it was all thanks to this guy, Odell Beckham, for breaking the internet and breaking Madden alike, with the spectacular catch that he made. And man, it was Madden 16 was honestly probably one of my favorite years, even though it was kind of frustrating with with the aggressive catches at times, it really, helped kind of light the fire back up in me to, not only play casually, but get to the point where I can, get to where I'm at now, not only making YouTube videos, but also, trying to play competitive as well. So I feel like it would be awesome to bring back an Odell Beckham card as far as the 50 promo. I remember the grind, it was definitely tough to try to get this card, but once you finish and once you saw him pop up on your screen, it was well worth it. Now, obviously, whenever I had him, I didn't really use him for that long because at the time he was going for like over 1 million plus coins, and that was whenever I was in college, so I was really running a no money spent squad. I wasn't spending any money on MUT, so I definitely was very appreciative of his contributions to my coin count. It was over 1 million coins easily. So but I think this would be awesome to see him back in the game as far as the MUT Master card. I mean, I know he has his Team of the Week card, but that's not even close to this level for Odell Beckham. And then the other wild card that I decided to go ahead and pick would be kind of more of a kick returner, punt returner, but you could use him as a receiver too. Honestly, it would be Devin Hester, one of the best, if not the best, kick returner, punt returners in the history of the NFL. I seen a poll on Twitter that was kind of trending where people were picking between Devin Hester and Tyreek Hill, and for whatever reason, Tyreek Hill won. And I was like, how does that make any sense? So that just goes to show like that recency bias, if that's what you want to call it. So I know for me, Devin Hester is someone that I grew up with, even watching back in the 07 Super Bowl, watching him get that, that crazy kick return at the beginning against the Colts is who it was. So as far as kick returner, punt returner / receiver, if you want to call it that, I would go ahead, probably I'd pencil in Devin Hester. All right, so going in and wrapping things up with the tight end position. So first tight end that I have is Antonio Gates. I know you guys are probably shocked, wondering why isn't Tony Gonzalez in it. Let's be real, Tony Gonzalez is probably going to get an Ultimate Legend at some point later on down the year. So I want to see something different in terms of names. And I'll be honest, Antonio Gates is not really a name you see too much in MUT here over the last couple of years. So I would go ahead, just for the sakes of this case, I would give it to Antonio Gates. I remember back in Madden 08, not even in Ultimate Team, just back in Madden 08, one of my favorite teams to use was the Chargers, because that Chargers team was loaded, and Antonio Gates was one of those weapons with like him, Vincent Jackson, Darren Sproles, LT. Like, that team was just ridiculous. Feel free to chime in down in the comments if you guys remember that team, and hit the like button if you remember using that Chargers team, because I remember that team was absolutely loaded. So Antonio Gates, I feel like, would be a good pick in terms of the 50. Now, you could obviously argue Jimmy Graham, but he already got his second team 50 card. Obviously, Jimmy Graham was known for the Jimmy jump back in Madden 17. That was kind of, became the meta for a little while before they eventually patched it. So, Jimmy Graham was a good intro, but I feel like Antonio Gates would be a great choice for the tight end position. My last two wild cards that I would consider for the tight end for the 50. Number one, kind of continuing the theme with the MUT Masters, I would go Rob Gronkowski. Again, another card that was OP at the time when he first dropped. Now, I will say it was interesting because I think this might have been one of the first years where the MUT Master wasn't a 99. It was only a 95. But granted, at the same time, I think the grind for Gronk was way easier than it was for like Odell or some of the other MUT Masters like Richard Sherman. That Richard Sherman, I remember whenever I first got into MUT and I saw what the grind was to get that was crazy. So obviously with Gronk, it was a lot easier. I was able to finish it, within a couple of weeks after the game dropped. So I put in a lot of time to try to get him. So I feel like, just to keep up with the theme as far as MUT Masters, obviously memorable cards, I feel like Gronk would be appropriate. And then the last card to consider for the 50, first team Madden 21 Ultimate Team squad, that's what you want to call it. We've got tight end Donald Penn. Now, I thought it was crazy. I remember whenever I first saw Donald Penn was getting tight end cards back in like, I don't know if he got it in 16. This was from 17. And I don't think I've seen Donald Penn tight end cards in a little bit of time. But I remember seeing videos back in the day of gold. Someone made a golden ticket tight end Donald Penn that was out there just trucking like crazy. So I felt like it would only be right. It would be awesome to see a card like that in the 50. Now, do I expect it? No. So that's the reason why I'm calling this a wild card. But man, that would be something. That would completely. I wonder if that would be like change the meta a little bit, because he would be a nasty run blocker out there, especially if you put him at receiver. Especially with everyone kind of running the meta. This man-to-man, and everyone trying to find ways to try to beat it. So I don't know. That's just me just kind of rambling out loud. So yeah, that's actually going to wrap this video up, guys. Planning on posting this, it is technically Friday. Planning on posting this later this morning, if that's what you want to call it. And if you guys are looking forward to the defensive prediction video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll try to get that out to you at some point tomorrow, hopefully. And then if you guys enjoyed this prediction video, smash that like button, man. I enjoy making this type of content for you guys. And really, until the next one, guys, this is Dre Knows, and we're signing out. Peace.